Parents are often faced with having to help their children learn a list of spellings that have been sent home by their teacher. These are usually words that have been taught in school and follow a particular spelling pattern. I'm going to show you the very best technique for actually memorising new words. It's the look, think, cover, write, check technique that is taught in schools all over the world. Let's see how it works. Look and think are the most important parts of the process. The first thing to do is to look carefully at the word to see if it can be split into smaller parts that are easier to manage. I'm using the word unfortunately as an example, and you'll see how I've broken it up. Un-fort-you-nate-ly. Then we have a look to see if there are any parts of the word that remind you of the pattern of letters in other words. Well, un, is a very common start, usually meaning not. Then there's fort, like a castle. U is pronounced like the name of the letter U. The word ends with ly, ly, and again you'll know lots of words that end like this. You'll notice that I've left out the last bit before the end of the word, nate. The reason is that this is the bit of the word that causes people difficulty. When we say unfortunately, it sounds like nut in the middle of it, doesn't it? Not nate, nut. So what we need to do is to mispronounce it to ourselves and say unfortunately, emphasizing the nate. This will help us get the spelling right. So, to sum up the think look section of the method, we break the word up into smaller bits, look for bits that remind us of other words, and then we look for the problem areas and concentrate on those particular parts. Let's see another example to remind us how to look and think. It's the word business. Notice how I've broken it up. First we have the word bus, then I as in ink, then ness, which is another common word ending like softness, witness, happiness and so on. So where's the problem in business? Well, there are two problem areas really. The first half of the word sounds like biz, B-I-Z, but it's spelled like bus, B-U-S. Then there's the letter I in the middle. We don't actually say the I, we say business, as if the letter I isn't there at all. So to remember business, we say bus-i-ness to ourselves. That way it will stick in our mind. Final example. Recommend. Look how I've broken it up. That's because the problem here is to know whether it's one M or two M's. This is where people often make a mistake. By putting the gap between the two M's and saying re-com-mend, then it's obvious when we say it to ourselves that there are two M's. And finally, to the last three parts of the strategy. We now cover the word, thinking about it in our mind's eye. You might even close your eyes to think about it. Then we write the word down, and then we check that we've got it right. That's all there is to this memorising technique. It's fairly simple, isn't it? Just before I go, I'd like to mention one other way of helping to remember spellings, and that is something called finger writing. All that means is that whilst you're thinking about the word, you write it on your hand with you using your finger. Some people suggest that even writing on a piece of rough sandpaper is very helpful too. I think it is. There's lots more advice about teaching and spelling on the website, and if you feel that you need a book to help you, there's a list of my recommendations there too. Here are the details coming up.